This episode of 10K MMA is brought to you by Castle Point Analytics. Head over to castlepointanalytics.com right now and use promo code 10K, that's 10K, for 50% off your first purchase of either the Decision or the Knockout package, which provides you with an in-depth look at all the upcoming fights. They give you their favorite parlay, their favorite value play, and so much more. That's castlepointanalytics.com, and check out their Instagram at castlepointanalytics.
It's time! I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
You know I would absolutely kill you if you ever did something like that, right? You could never kill me. Oh, I bet you I could.
This is the main event of the evening.
We're live from Dublin. Well, 50% of us. All right, you're in Dublin, right? I didn't know if you were outside of
Yes, sir. Yes.
I forgot about that. You can hear me okay? I have this mic just...
I can hear you great. You're looking great. You're sounding great. And I'm very excited, as always, to join you, EP.
How many of my chins can you see?
Not as many as mine, right? I got about 5 or 6 over here. But, yeah, you know, it's all right.
Yeah. No, we're both looking good. We're feeling good. So, yeah, lot to talk about. Well, obviously in the MMA world, there were some fights over the weekend, but that's not too important. A lot of 10K drama, man.
Yo, I'm very excited to discuss this. I'm devastated by the loss of the great Bubba Parkos. Alex is now what he's going by, his real name. First off, I didn't know that his real name was Alex until he quit 10K. I'm devastated. I sent him a little text today. I accidentally called him. I thought I was calling someone else in the States. I see. I don't have your numbers like saved in my phone. I just have like the numbers as US numbers. So I thought I was calling my friend with the +1 at the start, and I ended up calling Bubba, and he didn't answer. By the way, he wouldn't. He's too big for me now.
Yeah.
But you know, he wouldn't answer the phone, and I said I sort of texted him. I was like, oh, sorry, wrong number or whatever, and he was like, oh, it's cool. And I was telling him, you know, I hope everything's all right, and I think he's feeling a bit better now. He's feeling a little bit less, you know, whatever it was, he was put out or something. He was like, he was mad for some reason. I'm sure you know the full story. You were in Vegas, so
Yeah.
you know better than I do. But it looks like it's permanent. It looks like he's not coming back to 10K anytime soon.
Yeah. I think this is it for Bubs, and he made the decision on his own too, mostly, and so I'm pretty sad. I had fun with him in Vegas for when we did hang out, but yeah, I told him if he ever still wants to hop on, like if you and I are on, more than welcome. So I don't know. I wish him the best. I hope I don't know what company's gonna go to next. I saw he's saying he's got a couple of influencer or
Yeah.
like entertainment companies reaching out to him. So.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure they're going to be a whole lot more respectful than 10K were.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
As far as
But
we could talk. This is a hot topic, but that sells, right? So it was. I actually wasn't there when the whole thing kind of started. So it was,
yeah.
Jake, basically, we can name drop whatever.
Yeah, Jake's his arch nemesis. I know, I get it.
He knew, yeah, he knows. So some things were said to him, I guess, at the airport, and then Jake tweeted that tweet. I don't think he's ever deleted either. I mean, I didn't think it was that bad, but Bubba didn't take too kindly of it. I think that was just kind of the last straw for him, and then because then I knew something was up because I had no idea what was going on. I wasn't even on Twitter, and I got Bubba texted me just all pissed off. I was like, oh man, he's not. Like something bad must happen. Him and Jake must have really got into it, and then I find out that's the only tweet. But it is what it is, you know. He just said he doesn't really care to do content anymore, but that's his decision. I think he makes great content. The bug video went viral. Like it's pretty.
I'm a big proponent of eating bugs on camera. I think it's look, I think it's lowest common denominator. I mean this with all due respect to Bob. I think it's one of these things where it's not everybody's taste. Bugs are certainly not anybody's taste, really. I would have thought, but he carries it so well. He looks so great. He's got such a great he's got like a silent kind of charisma, right? Like he's not someone who says a great deal or kind of he's not someone who he probably couldn't like carry a podcast on his own. For example, I know yourself and Boss Man and Jake are kind of good hosts and all of that. He probably couldn't really like host a show, but he's like Chris Farley, right?
Yeah.
He's just hysterically funny. He's got so much going on for him, and that's why this is so devastating because he's someone who's very difficult to replace, right? Like on the team, I would imagine, because I'm sure, with all due respect to yourself, to Bossman, to all the other guys who are involved, there's a load of people who can host podcasts very well, right? Like
Hmm.
there's a lot of people who can edit the content, and there's a lot of people who can do all of this stuff. But the intangible quality that Bubba brings to these things. Sorry, I should be saying Alex, right? He doesn't want to be called Bubba anymore.
Right. Yeah.
But these are intangible qualities that he has that, yeah, maybe it's just eating bugs or whatever. But I think he's actually a very talented young man. I think he's a guy who has an awful lot going for him. He's got, he's so funny. Everybody loves him. The amount of girls that go on his Twitter Spaces, I'm
Endless.
devastated. Yeah, no, like, and some of these girls are very, very attractive ladies. I can't believe that they're so interested. But yeah, he's just got something that really gravitates people towards him, and yeah, I'm pretty devastated as something of I like to think of myself as like a cousin, like a distant cousin
Mhm.
of the 10K family.
Yep.
I'm not quite in the family, but I'm a distant relative, and I'm sure we can get more into that later too. But I think yeah, as a far off member of this family that I feel like I've been adopted into, I'm devastated to see him go. It's pretty sad, and I'm surprised that you didn't kind of feel that something was coming throughout this week in Vegas.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, so when I got there, Well, Bub and I actually were on the same flight out there.
Hmm.
The rest of the guys didn't get in till a weird time Thursday, which that was a tough day for me. But I'll get into that. But no, he was I don't know, he was having a pretty good time. Uh, Thursday, me and him were. He doesn't really like to drink too much, but whatever. Like, you
Hmm.
haven't drank in a while. It's not
Yep.
you have to do that to go to Vegas and be out and about. But I don't know. I didn't seem like anything was too wrong. I didn't really see him though. After the Wednesday and then Thursday morning to mid afternoon because what had happened was like I stayed out Wednesday. I actually got some sleep Wednesday because the radio show that we went down there with was I'm sure you saw all about it. The
Yeah.
Power Trip
Yeah.
Morning Show. That's the morning show. We talked about that on the last show. um, since they're down there, Vegas is 2 hours behind, so they usually start at 5:30 up here. Well, down there they had to start show at 3:30, and so
Hmm.
you basically your sleep schedule's kind of either you got to power through it, and then you could sleep at 8 a.m. or you can go to bed at like 8 and then get up before the show and actually have your wits about you to some extent. But
Hmm.
so Thursday, I went to the pool that we stayed at the Planet Hollywood where we stayed with I don't know if you've seen Goose or Hussy on Twitter at all. Maybe not, but
I know I tangentially know all of these characters. What I found I was talking to someone about this today. I found the amount of people with like a name and then underscore 10K
yeah.
in their thing. I don't like see look this is the thing. I don't follow like a huge amount of people on Twitter. I like to keep the ratio good, right? I don't want to follow like 1,000 people. That's too many. I'm trying to
Hmm.
keep it in the hundreds. But I'd feel like an asshole if I don't refollow everyone
Yeah.
who's got 10K in their name. So even the people who I don't know, I kind of feel like I have to follow them. So I'm sure I have seen these people on social media. But yes, continue your story.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, but if you for the follow back, but whatever. But no, so we went to the pool and Hussey had like a cabana for us, and Bubba just I don't know he wasn't really feeling the vibe or whatever, so he just went back to his room, and then that's basically the last I saw of him. So because and so here's my dumb ass. I started drinking. So I went to the Thursday morning show, but then I slept for a little while because they get done at like 9 o'clock, so 7 o'clock down there, 7 a.m. So we slept from like 7:30 to like 11 noon, so that was fine, whatever. I wake up, start drinking at like 1:30 down at the pool with those guys, and then Jack and Jake and Zane and them got in at closer to midnight, 11 o'clock midnight. So at that point, I like if I was gonna go to bed, I was going to bed because I'd already been
Yeah.
drinking all day. So they get in, I meet up with them. Oh no, we did see Bubba for a little bit. He got because we grabbed something to eat at the because they had an issue checking in their room, so we were trying to kill some time. So just walk around the
Right,
hotel.
right.
Got something
And
to
Bubba was
eat.
in a beautiful suite, from what I understand, an EP level
You
suite,
did?
I would
No,
say.
no,
The kind of
that's a Bubba level. I had a
is
normal
you know
room, so
I know that you're a very rich guy, and this is the kind of I feel like something was off on that one. The Peterson family, I know your father Jordan B and your sister Michaela,
yeah.
I think are obviously a high rolling family, but yeah, I think Bubba was, oh shit, what happened to my camera?
Now we're
Uh,
going off the walls
Bubba,
here.
yeah, dude. Bubba's obviously. I'll keep my train of thought going.
Yeah.
Bubba's obviously the real high roller when it comes to Vegas, right?
Right. He is. No, he is. He loves it. And so yeah, he had a nice penthouse at I don't know because it was like MGM like owned it, but I checked
It
into it with
wasn't
them.
the MGM.
Yeah, it wasn't the MGM. It was like a towers
Yeah.
across the street. But we checked in. You needed a key to get to get to this floor, and it was a really cool room. The heights freaked me out. I didn't like the balcony. It's too high up. It was the 30th
Hmm.
floor, so that's too much for me.
Jeez.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can feel your ears popping in the elevator. But yeah, whatever. So we got food and whatnot with Bubba, and then we decided we were gonna go just grab like a drink in their room, and then Bubba didn't come back to like the Jack and Jake and Zane. They had like two connecting rooms. Bubba didn't come back. He just went back to his room. He said he was gonna come to the show, or maybe he didn't. I don't know, but I didn't think he would because he didn't go to the first one. But it's whatever, it's in the middle of the night
Yeah.
basically, so can't blame you. But so my dumbass started drinking at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Those guys are like, well, let's just head over to it was at this Buffalo Wild Wings that's in Vegas. It's like I don't know if it's 24 hours. I think they might have opened it for them, but
Okay, fire.
so yeah, it's right on the strip. And so we get there at like 2 o'clock. So, and then we immediately just were like, yeah, well, we're going to start drinking. So we're taking fucking Irish car bombs, which is that a thing that originated in Ireland, by the way, or is that something that
I guess, bro. I mean, like we drink them over here, bro. Like obviously, I'm not really a drinker, but yeah, whenever I do go back to it, I'm sure I'll have a couple of Irish car bombs.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
just call them car bombs over here.
Yeah. That's a whole other podcast too that we can talk about. But no, yeah. So we started off with those. So that's just kind of where the night or / morning was gonna go from there. I started like falling asleep just before the show, so I was like, I gotta do some Red Bull, So they call them Vegas
Yeah.
bombs. It's just basically vodka and Red Bull or whatever.
Right.
I hate Red Bull. That was probably that's why I was so dead the next day.
Right, yeah.
I can't do Red Bull. I don't know why. I just think it's disgusting. So
It sucks, bro, for sure.
no,
Yeah, I get
it's
you.
awful. So yeah, we're there. We're just wasted with the power trip. Great guys. We got to meet all of them, and we were networking with them a bit. It was a ton of fun. And then yeah, so the last I saw Bubba was basically Thursday night / Friday morning. And then yeah, I go get back to my room at about 8:30, 9 a.m. on Friday. So up from 1 in the afternoon Thursday to Friday at 9 a.m. And dude, I woke up, checked my phone. It was almost 4 in the afternoon. I was like, oh my God. And then I just looked at the ceiling. I was like, oh no. And I was just done. Couldn't move.
Yeah.
Jack was texting me. He's like, get your ass down to the pool. You fucking pussy. I was like, dude, no, you don't understand. I can't, like, from the heartburn to the dizzy. I just couldn't move. I was done.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
my last day in night in Vegas, I literally didn't leave my room. Threw up 3 times. Was
Right.
told one of my buddies I was down there with. He went out and gambled, drank a little bit. He brought some McDonald's. Couldn't even touch the McDonald's. Like I just.
Right.
It was one of the second worst hangover I've had in my life. Honestly,
Yeah.
close to the first, which the first one was after the Conor Dustin one.
Right, when you got sick everywhere, because you were.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that
That was
story. You
doghouse.
drank the whole bottle of Proper 12 yourself, right?
Yep. That was
Beautiful.
that. So this was basically equivalent to that, and so I was just like, yeah, I can't,
Mhm.
because I flew out then Saturday morning, mid morning at like 10. So I was like, dude, if I try to do anything today, I won't make it to the flight. So had to bite the bullet and just laid in bed, and I was just watching TV all day, and went to bed at like 10 o'clock that night, and woke up freaking Saturday morning for my flight, still fucked. I was still hungover.
Yeah.
Wasn't nearly as bad. I could function, showered, packed up my shit, and I just headed to the airport and We went and sat in the lounge, the Delta Lounge, which I let
Of
anybody
course.
into. By the way, if you just have a Sky Miles card, so don't think that that's some superior shit.
No, yeah, I understand. No, yeah, I understand. You were in the Delta Platinum Lounge. I get it. I feel you. I
Which,
understand.
dude, it was a lifesaver because I'm at the airport. It was hot. It was fucking packed. Like the security line was awful. There's kids running everywhere.
Yeah.
My head was about to explode. So we went there and thank God it was air conditioned. It's free food in an open bar. Couldn't touch the bar, obviously. But
Hmm.
you get nice chairs to sit in. So that saved my life. Because by the time I got on the flight, I felt a lot. I was able to eat a little something, and then I was just down in water. But I thought I was gonna
Yeah,
die
nice.
at one point. So
I feel you. I understand. Yeah, and so you had just made like no contact. Was at this point when you were at the airport, had the infamous tweet from journalist Jake gone out,
no, I don't
or
think it
no?
had. I don't think it was till what was it, Sunday night, Saturday, no,
Right.
Sunday night. Yeah, So 2 nights ago, Sunday night, because that's when I got a text from Bubba, and he was all pissed. I was like, oh man, and I knew it wasn't good. So I was just kind of trying to stay out of it. And then here I checked Twitter, and he said he's leaving. I was like, well, he kind of does this once a month. But then Monday came, and tweet was deleted. Hadn't heard from him. So yeah, the last I heard from him was that Thursday, and then today he actually texted me. And you saw he tweeted at us. He calmed down and
Yeah.
had his wits about him, I guess to say. But he tweeted another goodbye, and so that was all she wrote for Bubba, or I guess now Alex Parkos.
Bro, it's so devastating, man. I mean, first off, I was stunned that I got the unfollow treatment.
Yep.
I wasn't in Vegas. I don't
Right.
even, with all due respect to Jake, we had a good time on the last podcast, but Jake wasn't even. I've never even seen this guy.
Yeah, because you didn't have
We
the
were
camera.
talking,
Yeah.
but he was behind the camera. I thought that Bubba and I had a special friendship. I thought that we had really bonded over the last show, and of course I jumped on a few of his spaces too, so we had talked for a while, and yeah, I'm pretty broken up, but he refollowed us. Thanks
Yeah.
be to God. I don't know why you got unfollowed,
I don't
because I
know
don't
why I got
think,
unfollowed either, because I wasn't there. I was like, dude, I wasn't.
yeah,
And he unfollowed like 10K MMA, and I was like, damn. But yeah. So I just quit replying because I just knew he was not in the best mindset probably to have a normal conversation with. I just
I
saw
I
that
was
going.
I was
So
explaining to my friend that I was at a football or what you would call soccer match today. My team Bohemians won 2-1
saw that.
in a huge upset victory against PAOK from Greece. I looked at the odds right beforehand. It was Bows were I believe, is it plus 500 is 5-1?
Wow, they were
Yeah,
back
so
that
Bows
big
were
of
plus
odds.
500 to win, and they went 2-0 up and they ended up winning 2-1. So I
Yeah.
probably should have put 20 quid on it, but I decided against it. Well, actually, in hindsight, I should have put like my whole life savings, right? Because then I
Right.
would have quadrupled
Yeah.
my life savings. But they won, and this was a huge event. And we were discussing at halftime. I was telling him about the whole Bubba saga because I was reading Twitter and I saw his final goodbye, and I was explaining how he says in the goodbye that him and Jake like, oh, it's just a bit. But I feel like it's absolutely not a bit, right? Because he wouldn't have left if it wasn't a bit.
Yeah. See, I was reading that tweet. It was pretty sad, by the way. I was like, geez, well,
Yeah,
okay. But yeah, I saw the part with him and Jake. I was like, but I think everybody kind of also knows that. They're like, is it a bit though? But I don't know. I
yeah.
just don't think he's obviously friends with Jake, but yeah, they just get each other
Because
going, or he gets him
what
going.
I thought was that everything was a bit.
It
Like
is.
I
That's the
thought
whole point. Yeah.
that was the whole point of the network, the whole point
Yep.
of making, because you guys have been friends right outside of the whole 10K thing for a
Yeah.
while,
Yeah.
if I understand correctly, and it was about making this friendship like a public thing, and obviously you've got your real friendships behind the scenes, and then everything that goes on 10K is a bit, is what I thought,
That's
but evidently. Bubba did not think that Jake's tweet was very nice. Jake
yeah.
jokingly asked him if he loved. Bubba posted a lovely picture from his hotel room.
Mhm.
It looked great. I was so happy for him. He looked like he was having a great time. He
Yep.
said, "I love this city," blah blah blah. And Jake responded with, I thought it was a funny tweet from Jake. To be honest, I like.
God, it was kind of
I'm
funny.
not trying to throw Bubba under the bus, but
No.
he said, it was something about how what part do you like, the hotel room or the airport? Because those are
Airport.
the only places you ever hang out.
Yeah. I thought that was
And
funny, but yeah.
I thought it was a funny tweet. I thought as friends, as people who do this stuff all publicly, that it was a good bit, but apparently not. Apparently, Bubba did not enjoy it. I hope that he and Jake have kind of talked it out, because when I was on the last time, I felt like there was tension there.
Yeah.
I felt like that Bubba and Jake, they had a big blow up. The clip is now gone because Celine Dion got rid of your Twitter, right? But there was a big explosion from Bubba where he was not happy at all with Jake. They fell out in studio. Bubba was breaking something in the studio. It was terrible. And I was really thinking, this looks kind of like it looked like a bit to me. And then when I was actually talking to the two of them, Bubba was on Zoom, Jake was in the studio. I was thinking, this is kind of real a little bit
Yeah.
here. There's definitely a feud between these two guys that once again I thought could be played for radio. I guess look, he doesn't want it to be public anymore. He doesn't want his life to be public. He doesn't want. Look, I understand it too.
Right.
Like he's a good guy. He's got a job, like a real job, I'm sure. Like everybody does, right? And
Yeah.
and obviously, like you do a lot of stuff for 10K, and
Right.
but you probably
Exactly.
wouldn't eat bugs under your real name, right? And and
No.
and
Yeah.
all this stuff. So I'm sure your real job would get irritated. I'm sure if I came on here and I was eating bugs and all this shit, like I'm sure my
You'd hear about it.
employers would. Yeah, I think that they would be like a little bit embarrassed, and I'm sure like his job probably didn't love all of this stuff, and he's probably thinking more about his real life outside of 10K. Not that 10K isn't real. 10K is very real, but
Yeah. Right.
outside of doing comedy bits online.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and look, I genuinely 100% would love for him to one day come back because, like I say, he's got some intangibles. I think at the very least he could do the Twitter Spaces, right?
Yeah. And
He doesn't even have to
I don't
show
know.
his face.
Yeah, it sounded like he wasn't even interested. I don't know. He might step away. I
No.
saw he was tweeting about like some random Olympic stuff and whatnot, but I
Hmm.
think he's just gonna kind of step away from it all. Besides the sports on Twitter, where he's talking about. That's what it sounded like. So it is what it is. Yeah, he's a great guy. Like he wouldn't, super nice guy. Wouldn't hurt a fly. I didn't mean for that to even rhyme.
Yeah.
but well, obviously besides unless he was eating them, but
Yeah, of course he would hurt a worm. He would eat the
no,
worm, but he
yeah.
wouldn't.
He'd give you the
Yeah.
shirt off his back, So we wish the best for him. Obviously, still gonna talk. Like he was texting me today, so it's not like we're not gonna ever see him again. It's just he
Yeah.
doesn't want to be on social media. So
And by the way, is he always a short texter, or is he probably? Do you think like he probably doesn't want to hear from me again?
no, he's kind of a short text because he was even texting me
Okay.
today, and he's just like, Give me a hug," or "Come give me," like just kind of as if basically his way of saying sorry. And I was like, I don't
Right, I get you.
want
Yeah.
him for anything. Like I don't care.
Yeah, I get you. I understand. He's a superstar man, and unfortunately, look, he flew a bit too close to the sun, and I think he'll be back. I think one day he'll decide to come back. And look, the only reason I want him to keep on with these Twitter Spaces is there's a lot of cool people in there. There's I was talking to some of the ladies there. Like over here, there aren't as many ladies to talk to because we're in lockdown, right? So
Right.
I'm talking to these girls on Bubba's Spaces, which was kind of funny. But yeah, I'm gonna miss his Twitter Spaces. I'm gonna miss all of his content, and I hope one day he can get back to doing some stuff with 10K
Yep.
down the line.
Yep, me as well. So that's the hot topic on that shirt, and I'm sure like you'll hear on It's a Bit or Jack and those guys they'll be talking about it as well this week.
Yeah.
It's, there's
By the way,
news
what a
every
great
week.
show It's a Bit is. I was
Yeah,
listening to it the other day, having not really gotten. I'm getting more invested into this whole 10K thing.
yeah,
Every day I'm looking up all the updates. I'm obsessed with Bubba. I'm obsessed with now. I've been listening to It's a Bit. It's a great show. I hadn't listened to it when I first came on,
yeah.
when I first or second came on, and obviously you do a great show here. Not that there have been many episodes that I haven't been on since I first made my
Right.
appearance, but
For
yeah, no,
sure.
I think there's some really good some good talent on the show, and one day hopefully I'll be able to get an invite on It's a Bit as well. But that's
Yeah.
yeah, I listened to the most recent one. I haven't quite finished it yet, but yeah, good show. So fair play to all the guys doing that, Jack and Jake and everyone else.
I'm sure they would love to have you. And Jack, well, we were talking about that too last time. Even they'd love to get you on. It'd be more fun if we get you in person. We could do a whole week of, and
Bro,
you'll get over here. Yeah, that'll
I
happen.
I promise you well, I've got John Mayer tickets booked for February 2022 in Madison Square Garden.
Oh yeah.
So I'm hoping that that's my second trip to the States.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
hoping that I hope I get one more in before the end of the year, and then go to the John Mayer concert then. But I'm hoping that it gets cold over there, right, in November.
Dude, February's the worst time of year. November's
So
not bad.
February's.
February in Minnesota at least is fucked. Worst
Mhm.
worst month of the year. It's not even close. It's so bad.
Yeah, so I'm thinking like we got UFC in New York the 5th of October or the 5th of November.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah,
because I
November's not
suppose
bad.
it is. I suppose this is an MMA show, but I probably should talk about the UFC a little bit. But
Yeah.
I've got UFC in New York. I'm thinking maybe I go over for that. I do a little bit of work. I do a little bit of holiday time, and maybe I try to do 3 days or 5 days in Minnesota as well, and pop over to you guys. But I guarantee that the next time I am in America, I will be making a trip to Minnesota, no matter what. And I'm looking forward to going to see. I'm looking forward to going to Pirate Jacks. Is that the name of the
Cowboy
place?
Jacks. Yeah, we'll go to.
Cowboy Jacks. Yeah.
And I
Looking
tell
forward to
you, for-
finally.
Oh, well, dude, every day well, we're going to Jack's. Like, that's not the only fucking bar in the damn state. But people seem to think so. So maybe we'll go there, and then we'll go to a Vikings game because that's your favorite team.
Yes.
Which has had some huge controversy because our quarterback Kirk is not vaxxed, and our other quarterback who is fully vaccinated got COVID.
Mhm.
The fully vaxxed.
Wow.
You don't need to get into this, but Kirk, since he had contact tracing with him, he's out for at least 5 days. So I think he's out till Friday, and then he has to retest. But oh man, that's just all the people have been talking about. What a selfish quarterback, not bad. And we don't need we don't need to get into that. But yeah,
No, look, I know that you're an anti-vaxxer. I understand. You hate the vaccine. I personally love it. I think Sleepy Joe's doing great, man. I think the vaccine is lovely.
I see
But
it
yeah, no,
everywhere. Yeah.
that was
But
that
no,
was that was pretty cool from the non-vax player. That was kind of badass to still go around,
yeah.
getting his teammates sick. But yeah, so Kurt is out, and who's the non-vax quarterback who I love?
Kirk is Kirk Cousins, so that's the
Yeah,
non-vaxxer.
yeah. Kirk Cousins, my favorite player,
Yep.
obviously. Yeah, and who's my second favorite player is this
Um,
guy who was not vaxxed.
no, so the one who got it was vaxxed. That's Kellen Mond
Okay,
is the backup. So Kellen's the vaxxer who got COVID,
okay.
not from Kirk though.
So not only is he a pro-vaxxer, which we all know that you hate, but he's not even the first choice quarterback.
Exactly, and he ruined it for Kirk. So that's dude, it's been mayhem. It's just
Devastating.
I'm sure you can imagine, right?
Yeah, we need another Minnesota miracle.
Dude, yeah, because otherwise people aren't going to stop talking about this shit. So I mean, I just ready to talk about football, American football, and get over this cold. I don't know. I'm probably saying too much. If this goes viral, we're gonna get canceled. I'm not big enough to get
Bro,
canceled, so
no, certainly not. I guess maybe I am, but no, I think get your vaccine, people.
sure. No,
No, Sleepy Joe's definitely not holding a gun to my head on that one. Yeah, no. I think if you want to get vaccinated, it's
yeah,
probably a good idea.
sure.
It it seems to me like it's really because I think that COVID's not that bad. I think we're all overreacting a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and I think particularly people our age.
Yeah,
I think I saw this one story in the news the other day. You know what? I'm not even going to go there because I just remembered the
yeah.
story I saw was in a newspaper that I
Then-
can't really say bad things about. But I
no,
I do think COVID's not that bad. Vaccine probably also not that bad.
I'm with
I
you
don't I
on that.
don't
Yep.
I
Get
don't
it.
love the fear mongering, but get it if you want. Don't get it if you don't want. I don't love the discrimination.
It's not that complicated.
It
No,
is
if
what
you
it
get,
is.
yeah,
Yeah,
but like, I don't care. Get it if you want. If you don't, don't. There it is. There's our
it's
problem solved.
pretty simple.
Problem solved. So,
Yeah. Now
well,
that is
moving on.
enough to get you cancelled though. So let's
Yeah,
move on to some mixed
yeah.
martial arts.
Moving
All right,
on to
let's
some
go.
MMA. There were some fights. Well, first of all, you're saying you're not big enough. You can't. You're friends with Jake Paul now, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Well,
Yeah, let's hear
my
this then.
I
So,
am mutual friends with my friend Jake. Yes, you want to talk about the big fight announcement, Anthony Taylor versus Tommy Fury?
yeah, let's start off with that, and then we can get into because I know it's hard
One
to believe
second.
there was a UFC bit here, but yeah, let's talk about Tommy Taylor because I saw that.
Yeah,
Oh, he liked your tweet. I was like, holy shit, this guy's verified. I click on his account, and there he is with Jake Paul. So he's obviously some sort of a big deal.
yeah, man. Look, he's so Anthony's a great guy. He's a very very good fighter. I think a better fighter than I think Tommy was really thinking when he signed the deal.
Yep.
I think that Anthony, he's 7-5 in MMA, which isn't a great record, but as we all know, MMA records don't matter that much. It's not like a 7-5 in boxing is definitely not good. But what Anthony did as well was Anthony started his career as something of a journeyman. He fought He got brought to Dublin to fight James Gallagher, lost. He got brought to Hungary to fight Adam Borics, lost. And all of a sudden he found himself 2-5. And he was telling me this story last night. We did an interview that's now available on Mirror Fighting if you want to go follow at Mirror Fighting, which is my employers. But
Yep.
I did an interview with him, and he was talking about how he found himself in a very dark place. He was homeless. He was struggling. He was considering, he was contemplating suicide. And
Wow.
Antonio McKee, the legendary coach, sat him down and said, "Look, Ant, if you don't start taking your life seriously, there's a very good chance you do die." And I'm sure he was talking more about the fact that Anthony was going in there with guys who he wasn't really at the level of, and
Yeah.
taking them on short notice. And MMA is a brutal sport, and someone can really badly hurt you. So Ant really started dedicating himself to the sport of mixed martial arts as well as boxing, and he got a huge opportunity on late notice to fight a guy called Dean Barry in the Three Arena in Dublin. Dean Barry was 1-0 at the time, a kickboxing prodigy. He'd beaten some incredible kickboxers. He'd worked with GSP in the gym. He'd kickboxed with MVP. He'd kickboxed with
Damn.
Raymond Daniels. This was a very highly touted guy, and he was believed to be the next UFC fighter from Ireland. And Anthony came over and fought Dean Barry in his hometown, and Anthony beat him. He submitted him in the second round. And from there, his career really started to blow up. He got another short notice fight 3 weeks later against an undefeated English prospect called Mike Hales. He beat Mike Hales over 3 rounds, and then he went on a little bit of a run. He fought in Combate Americas, and he ended up getting back to Bellator, having lost his first few Bellator fights. And he beat a guy called Chris Avila, who trains with Nate Diaz, who was formerly in the UFC. Dean Barry ended up in that time getting signed to the UFC. So now Anthony's 5-fight win streak includes 2 UFC fighters.
Yeah.
And I don't think Tommy knew that when he signed the deal. I think I would imagine that Jake's side came to Showtime with this proposition, like, hey, Tommy's going to be on the undercard. How about we give him my sparring partner? That kind of helps build the hype for potentially Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury. And they probably said, yeah, he's 0-1 as a boxer. Yeah, he's like a middle of the road MMA fighter, 7-5, lost a couple, won a couple. And Tommy's team probably said, yeah, sounds good to me. And now Jake is going, oh, we got you.
He's licking
We
his
we
chops.
got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that Tommy's in for a very, very difficult fight. Is Anthony going to beat him? It's a very tough fight for Anthony too. Boxing is totally different to MMA, as we know, as we've seen. But Tommy is not an elite boxer by any stretch of the imagination. He's not even close. He's definitely in the discussion where a fight with Jake would be interesting. And that's with all due respect to Jake, right? Jake's a very good fighter, but Jake would admit himself that's a
Right.
low bar. If you're in the discussion of being around Jake's level, you're not really in British title discussion. You're not really in European title contention. You're certainly miles away from being world level. He's young, but I think Anthony's hungry. Tommy's never fought anybody whose career would benefit from beating him before. He's fought a lot of journeymen who know that if they beat Tommy, which I'm sure some of them would be able to, but he's fought a lot of guys who, if they beat Tommy, they don't get booked again on the local shows. So they don't get their 2 grand. And these are guys that fight, 20 times a year with the intention being that, like, they're going to give guys a tough test, but they're not trying to win a lot of these fights. Because if you fight 20 times a year, you get paid 1,500 or 2 grand for each fight. You're making like a 40 grand a year salary.
Yeah.
Your little part-time job on the side, you could end up making 60, 70 grand. It's
Mhm.
decent living,
Decent living, yeah.
And so none of these guys really wanted to beat Tommy, whereas Anthony is a legitimate fighter who's got a legitimate career to think about, who's on a legitimate 5-fight win streak in MMA that includes some very high level competition, and he's not going in there to pick up a paycheck,
Yeah.
which is that's the first for Tommy Fury, and I think that we're gonna see. I think it's a very, very interesting fight. Look, Tommy's gonna be an obscene favorite. The odds are gonna be wild, and probably rightly so, based on what is available to us as consumers. But I think it's not going to be even close to as one-sided a fight as people think it's going to be. I think that Anthony is great at getting inside. He's been training for his whole life with AJ McKee, who is the newly crowned Bellator champion, possibly the best featherweight in the world, but also a huge guy, also like 6 foot tall and rangy. AJ McKee's only 3 inches shorter reach than Tommy. So Anthony knows how to get inside. He's been training with Jake. He knows how to get inside with someone Jake's size who's bigger than Tommy. So I think Tommy's been sold a bill of goods here, and he better start really considering that he's got a
Yeah.
tough fight on his hands and stop talking about Jake Paul because he's got a really tough fight on August 29th against Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor. And look, I would love to see, with all due respect, I'm impartial, I'm a journalist, but Anthony's such a great guy. It would be so much fun if
Yeah.
Ant managed to get a win. And I'm really looking forward to this fight, August 29th, on the undercard of Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley, which is another very intriguing fight. Although I would imagine that Jake probably gets the job done there.
Yeah. And well, did you talk to him last night?
Like I didn't really talk to him. Like he was. So I was on the phone to Anthony talking about other stuff.
Yeah.
Anthony and I are full disclosure. We're friendly
Yeah. Okay.
and we talk pretty frequently and we were on the phone. We were talking about the events of the day. How he had gained whatever it was, 5,000 followers during the day because he'd
Yeah.
announced this, Jake was mentioning him and everything. So he was very excited, and we were just hanging out, and then I heard the door opening, and it was Jake, and Jake was kind of coming in to tell Anthony something. So I don't know exactly what he said. Like honestly, it's not that I'm hiding some sort of information. It's just that
Right.
I don't know what he said. I wish I had some fun exclusive news for you, but yeah, he kind of hung up on me then, and so Jake interrupted my phone call, but I wasn't really talking with Jake, and
Yeah.
I'm sure Jake doesn't want to hear from me. I'm sure I'm sure
Other
he's got
people.
better people to talk to than myself. Maybe he wants. I think Jake just wanted to hear from Bubba. I think he's probably equally as devastated as we
That's
are
what
that
it
he's
was.
gone.
That's what it was, I bet. Yeah, Anthony had broke the news to him about Bubs, and then
Yeah.
yeah, he had to. Jake was kind of like, "Well, shit." So, but no, that's awesome, man. That's an awesome connection. So, where are those two staying, or where are they training at right now?
So they're training in Dorado, Puerto Rico. Jake's
Okay.
got
Yep.
a
That's
beautiful
right.
mansion there, and he's moved his whole operation there. I don't believe that this is like something that they don't talk about publicly, but Logan was the first one to move to Puerto Rico, and Jake then headed over. And I think that part of the reason is the tax situation for people in their bracket is incredible over
It's
there.
ungodly. Yeah.
I think it might be a 0% tax rate for people
Ye-
at that rate because of
Wow.
course like there are people who bring a lot to the economy, right? So if they're living there earning, $8 million a year or whatever it is that they earn, like 15
Yeah.
million or whatever,
Yeah.
and they're spending all of their money in the Puerto Rican economy, it's probably better like if they'll go out to a club and spend a gigantic amount and it'll probably be more than they would have got from the taxes regardless. So I would imagine that's part of the reason. And yeah, so Jake is in Puerto Rico and Dorado, partially for tax, but also because he wants to be away from distractions in California. I think
Yeah.
that's very real. I
Yeah.
think that those guys they live the life. Jake particularly. Logan, I think, is a little bit more sensible, but
Yeah.
Logan also knows how to live the life. He's been
Yeah.
partying the last couple of weeks, so I think that what Jake does is he goes and trains, man. What I hear from Anthony, who's his main sparring partner, is that Jake is wildly committed, and that Jake is not someone who started training 3 years ago for a white collar boxing match. He legitimately is taking the fast track because he kind of has to. He started very late. He started at 21 years old, but he's speeding up the process. He's not cutting any corners though. He's just taking a crash course. And what he'll do is he'll spar someone for 4 rounds or 8 rounds, and then he'll go home with his coach BJ Flores. He'll go home with Jay Leon Love, and he has another coach. I can't something Chavez, Jacob Chavez, I believe is his name, who used to be a fighter, is now a coach, and they'll go back to the gym, or sorry, they'll go back to his house, and they'll watch the tape for 3 4 hours,
Wow. Yeah. Holy
and
shit.
then he'll come back and spar that same person again. And what he does, he views that second spar as like an amateur fight. And
So
so Jake doesn't consider himself to be 3-0 with one amateur fight, which is what he is. He
right.
considers himself to be a seasoned amateur who's fought amateur fights with some very high level competition, and he thinks that he's at a very very high level in boxing. And look, he's probably partially right. He's not like a world level competitor or anything, but there's definitely low level fighters that he can beat, and I think we're going to see that against Woodley. And yeah, so basically he's based in Puerto Rico. He's training with Ant at the moment, and Ant is out there as well, and we're in for a very very exciting card on August
Yeah.
29th.
Now you got me bought in fully. I mean, and everyone can say I'm not. Jake Paul's not a fight, but he is though, right? I mean, Jake, especially if he
Yeah,
beats Tyron Woodley, and I mean, I have no idea how Tyron's going to come out and box. I'm still I don't I love Tyron Woodley from when the run he was on, when he had the strap, but
Hmm.
then he lost me a lot of money on Gilbert Burns. So, but no, that's not,
Well,
that's
yeah.
whatever. That's just kind of where his downfall was, kind of like, holy shit. And then he just really hasn't been the same. It just kind of happens even with like Conor, like they just can't get a win, and as great as they were.
Hmm.
And he obviously, Woodley still has that right hand, right? He's got one of the scariest right hands in combat sports. If he lets that go and it connects, you're going to be waking up in the next month. But Jake can strike. He can bot. Like, he's
Hmm.
legit. And especially if you have all this time and money, that's the biggest thing. And they're athletic.
Yeah.
Logan wrestled Division I at University of Ohio, the Bobcats, not Ohio State, but
Hmm.
whatever. He for like a
University.
year or
I
two.
think it was Division III, but yeah,
Yeah, we're good, but still wrestled in college. I don't know if
very
Jake
high
did.
level. Yeah.
Yeah,
Jake was more of a football player.
okay,
I
but
think
still,
Jake was a decent wrestler, nothing too special. Logan was a pretty special wrestler from what I understand, and
yeah,
yeah, Jake certainly was a football player. I believe he trained to be in the Navy SEALs. Obviously decided to go the route of show business instead, and
better
yeah, now
choice.
he's decided he's gonna yeah, for sure. And he's
But
decided he's gonna fight, and like you say, the financial side is so
yeah,
interesting because when you enter a boxing gym, like a young man, like I know a lot of amateurs around here. I'm close friends with one guy in particular. His name's Simon Bangu. He's an amateur going through the ranks here in Ireland, but he's one of these guys who he doesn't really have a great deal of financial backing in his life and all of that. So he would have stepped into a gym and had to pay his dues and do all these amateur fights and all of that stuff. And 3 years for him is not the same as 3 years for Jake,
yeah,
because
no,
Jake is able to get the top level coaches and
hmm,
all of this great stuff, and he every facility is afforded to him, but that means that he has to work really fucking hard, and I think
correct.
that he does that, and I think you're right. He's a legitimate, low level but
Right.
legitimate boxer.
Yeah, not saying he's a like you beat
Hmm.
Ben Askren, who took this fight for the money, and yeah, Ben, he
Yeah.
got dropped, but whatever, that's the case. But yeah, you watch these videos of him sparring, man, he's throwing some shots, and like you said, yeah, the financial side of it, in 3 years to him compared to an average lower level guy working his way through the ranks, it's night and day. And I'm not saying that if you're rich, you can just stop doing what you're doing and train boxing every
Hmm.
day. Well, you could, and you could be decent at it, but it sounds like you said, they go back and they watch film. His mind's just kind of into this fight game where he's going to try and, become a legitimate boxer down the road. And he knows his skill level, but but that's the selling side of shit, where he said, I'm going to knock Conor out. And there's this talk to him
Yeah.
fighting Conor. But he knows what he's doing. And like you said, Logan's more sensible too, but Logan's in his corner. So obviously Logan's
Yeah. Yeah.
helping him, say what to say. And I'm not saying, that he listens to everything Logan tells him, but those two together, their minds are, like John Morgan said when I had him on, they're laughing all the way to the bank. It doesn't matter what they do or say, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, their checking account is going to be sitting. They're not going to have to, look at their checking account the next morning after they go out to a club in Puerto Rico,
No, sir.
as they say. But
Certainly
no,
not when they go to Vegas.
yeah,
They they don't leave with empty wallets when they go to Vegas. I
no,
know that, but they're not like Boss Man.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Jack, I hope if you watch this, you use that pamphlet. Yeah, that was a tough one, but no, there that now you got me hyped for that card. We're thinking about doing, like, do you know Brendan Schaub? How he does like
Yeah.
his fight companion deal. So he did it with
Yeah, yeah,
Garbrandt
yeah.
at the Connor card, right? And so there he's gonna do like a fight companion for that. We're thinking about doing, because we have a decent amount of followers on TikTok. So obviously we got to
Right.
mute it and make sure there's no shot of the TV in the stream, but maybe doing a stream for a card like that.
That would be a lot of fun, bro. I
Yeah,
would definitely jump on for a
we
minute
could,
or two.
yeah,
But
we could,
there was a point you said that I really wanted to pick up on. You were talking about how you can just decide to start training if you've got all
right.
this money and stuff. But there's a lot of influencers who have boxed. We have seen the
Yeah,
formula play out a lot. And there are people who really put the work in too. Taylor Holder, very popular
yep,
TikTok star, decided he was going to dedicate himself to boxing. Bryce Hall, the same.
yeah,
These guys these guys really fucking worked hard, and they
and
put in the same amount of work. Sorry, no, that's not true. What they did was they put together the same amount of uh, facilities that Jake has, that
right.
Jake did when he fought against Deji when he started, right?
Yeah,
But what these guys didn't have was that drive, that killer instinct, that natural thing that the top level boxers need to have. And by the way, I don't think necessarily that Tommy Fury has that natural,
Yeah.
like, desire to hurt people. You watch him on any of these shows, like he was big on Love Island over here, and you watch, like, you find yourself watching this show every day, 6 days a week, for however long that show goes on, for 8 weeks, or something like that. And you do kind of get to know people when you're watching them that amount. And he's not a fighter. He never got in any fights when he was in the Love Island villa. He's not someone who really, has like a killer instinct in other aspects of his life. Like Jake comes across, with all due respect to him, sometimes like a bit of an asshole.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's ruthless. He can be cutthroat. Tommy does not come across that way, and a lot of people don't. And Bryce Hall doesn't come across that way.
No.
Taylor Holder doesn't come across that way. I think this Austin McBroom guy might. I mean,
Yeah.
he's someone
Kind of
who's
an
really
asshole.
got a.
Yeah.
He certainly comes across that way, and a dodgy kind of character. But you kind of need that to succeed within the ring, and KSI, I think, has a similar sort of flair. Logan is a great athlete, doesn't have the killer instinct. I believe that the issue that Logan has is that he did that thing in Japan, right? And
Yeah.
he
And
decided he wanted to maintain his mainstream celebrity career.
yep.
And to do that, he had to do the apology tour for 3 years, right? He had
Yeah.
to, there was no, uh, he couldn't really do anything dodgy after that point. He couldn't do anything that could get him cancelled. So
No.
it's difficult in that situation. It wouldn't be a good look for him
No.
if
I get what
he,
you're saying. If he said
but,
like
but
what Connor said, something like Connor.
no, not what Connor said, but look at the boxing, right? In the back of his head, like these guys, like Jake would be willing to really, really badly hurt these guys.
Yeah.
Logan in the back of his head is always going to be thinking, if the headline tomorrow is that I paralyzed some dude, or that I, killed some dude, or very severely hurt some guy, that's not going to be good. After
Yeah.
everything that happened over the last few years, it's really bad for Logan. So I think that Jake has never been in a position like that. Jake has had a lot of big controversies, nothing that has been a potential career ender.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and I think that Jake isn't really concerned about the celebrity stuff, right? He's a little bit more, like, he's concerned about it quite a bit, but
Yeah.
his YouTube views way down. His like he was willing to pose for a photo with President Trump, right? Big Hollywood celebrities would never do that. We
Right.
talked about this
No.
a little bit on the last one with
Yep.
Steve Will Do It, right? And I think that he's someone who, if it came to it, would be willing to really, really badly hurt someone in the boxing ring if that's what he needed to do to get rid of them. And Logan's not really like that, and a lot of these YouTubers and TikTokers
Yeah.
obviously aren't like that, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's nobody's like that. You're certainly not like that. I'm certainly not like that.
No.
And it takes a certain sort of a weird thing, and Jake's obviously got it. And I do believe that KSI probably has a little bit of it too. Luckily, KSI doesn't really have the ability to ever actually hurt anyone badly. And I think Austin McBroom has it a little bit, but he's very early in his development stage, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that Jake, if he needs to, is really going to be able to go deep and really get into the deep waters in boxing, and that's what makes him an exciting prospect in the sport.
Yeah.
And he's still pretty young. He's 24, so it's not inconceivable that 10 years down the line, having done 13 years of training, he probably could be 34 and be like a decent level, like a world level, or a high, like, a championship level fighter. I believe he'll probably win some modicum of belt, not a world title belt, but maybe I believe he could win an international title or a WBA. The WBA hand out belts for anything, bro. Like, they've got
Yeah.
3 world champions right now. They
Right.
got Anthony Joshua, they got Daniel Dubois, the interim champion, and they got Trevor Bryan, who's the regular champion. And I think Manuel Char has a little belt lying around too. So the WBA would surely give him a little trinket, and I think he'll probably win a title at some level of boxing in his
Yeah.
professional career.
Yeah. And you can, and I was thinking about, like you said, that nastiness and that grit that you need to have in the fight game, which is pretty tough to have, where you don't care if you hurt someone. It's kind of like going back to, you got to compare these guys, not obviously their level of talent, but like to Mike Tyson. I was just watching a video or a TikTok of where he gave that speech after he won. The guys, like, whoever was interviewing him goes, are you upset you trained for so long just to finish this guy in the second round that fast? And Mike just went off. He's like, my defense is impregnable, I think he said. And then my style is impetuous. He's like, they're not Alexander, I'm Alexander. And he just went on this absolute rant. because he's like, I just buried my best friend, 2 weeks ago, and he went on this, and you even see him now on he's a really good speaker, by the way, which not a lot
Yeah,
of people
he
would
gets
ever
very
think.
emotional. He gets very deeply invested in these things.
He's like, I'm scared of that guy, and he said that he was like crying. He's like, I'm scared of that guy who I was, I don't want him to ever come. But he's like, now some days I feel like a bitch, but he's like, I'm scared of that guy who I was. I don't want to ever see him, because if he comes out, hell's coming with him.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit, you feel like I'd
Yeah,
follow
no,
this guy into
exactly.
war. But yeah, it's like that mindset. I'm saying, not skill level. So everyone calm down. I'm not saying anything like Jake Paul's Mike Tyson.
Of course.
Take it easy.
Obviously not.
Yeah.
But he's got that. He's got something. He's got the little spark that actual top level fighters do have.
Yeah, exactly. So you got me fired. I'm bought into that card. I might not even illegally stream it. I might actually pay for this one. Is it because it's Showtime
Maybe.
now, right? Thank God it's not on, what is it, Triller or whatever? Who?
Yeah, I kind of had a little jabski at that yesterday on Twitter. Ariel Helwani said something about how it was a much higher level on this fight card than in terms of the undercard was a much
Yeah.
higher level undercard, and I said, "What? You didn't like Joe Fournier fighting Raycon, the
And
pop singer?"
and Chad Ochocinco or Chad Johnson
Yeah,
fighting whoever the hell he fought. Yeah, come on, man. Let's watch some actually real fighters, real boxers, and I don't know,
yeah.
whatever. It sounds like
And
Triller didn't
this
even.
is
Or I was just saying, they paid. What was that TikTok versus YouTube? Which
Social Gloves is currently
okay.
in the midst of litigation. That was TikTokers versus YouTubers.
And they didn't get paid or anything like that. I heard
That was
there's
all
just
run, I believe, by Austin McBroom. So yeah, I think there's some pretty serious stuff going down there. Unfortunately I don't know enough about the situation to comment on it, but yeah, that's going to be pretty heavy. But
yeah,
I think yeah, you've got world championship level fighters on this card. Amanda Serrano is a legendary women's fighter. She's pound for pound the worst you could say is number 3 in the world.
yeah,
Probably, I think, pound for pound number 1 or 2. She certainly has the raw knockout power that Clarissa Shields and Katie Taylor don't quite have. That's so exciting and really missing from women's boxing. So she's a very exciting prospect. And she's sorry, not a prospect. She's a multiple weight world champion. She's a very exciting world champion. I mean, when I say prospect, I mean as a casual viewer.
right.
And she's fighting Yamilet Mercado, and I think you've also got Daniel Dubois is fighting. I can't remember his opponent's name off the top of my head, but he's the interim heavyweight champion of the world with the WBA, which doesn't really mean a huge deal because the WBA, as we said, hand out belts
Hands
for
out.
pretty much anything. But he's at that kind of close to that world level. He obviously lost to Joe Joyce in his first really big test, but he's going to have a little test on the undercard here, and then of course Jake Paul. You got Tommy Fury, who's look, he's a decent level prospect. Anthony's a very high level MMA fighter, and I believe there's another world champion on there as well, whose name is escaping me right now, a former world champion. And yeah, we've got a very exciting fight card, and I don't want to be like too over the top with Espinoza or anything, but I think they've put together something that's definitely. It's going to be a hefty pay-per-view price. I think $60 or $70, but it's going to be
Yeah,
it's going to be. I think
be worth it.
there's not going to be very many better pay-per-views this year, even from the UFC.
Yeah, well, I'm excited for that. So hopefully we can do like some sort of 10K event, like you said. We'll have you hop on, but yeah, we can figure it out. We got August
yeah.
28th, is it, or
29th,
29th?
Sunday.
Okay. It's a Sunday. Okay, gotcha. Well, that's like the weekend before football too. So everyone over here will be in good spirits.
Right.
American football, but yeah, that we're looking forward to that. There's been some stuff going on in the UFC. I know, believe it or not, this is an MMA podcast, combat sports podcast, right? We've been talking.
Yes, exactly.
We're on a roll right now talking. We were talking combat sports there, so we can just get into the first thing I wanted to ask was, well, obviously, did you see any of the card last Saturday? I know you were working Bellator. Were you able to catch any of the UFC highlights or see any?
I caught little bits. I didn't really pay a huge deal of attention to the UFC. I also didn't really pay a huge deal of attention to all of the Bellator card. I was really interested in what happened with Brian Moore and Kiefer Crosby, and then I was very interested in the main event. And I know that Usman Nurmagomedov got a good win, and there was some high level fights on that card too. But to be honest with you, yeah, I didn't pay a great deal of attention. But what did you make of UFC this weekend and Strickland versus Hall?
So listen, and like I said, I just got back from Vegas. My girlfriend picked me up, and she wanted me to go out with her and her friends. We were supposed to go. She's like, "Oh, come on, like we're gonna go, just get a couple." I was like, "I cannot touch or look at alcohol. So I just dropped out because I knew wherever they were going, the fights were gonna be on. Or if they were, I just like being able to watch them. Like this
Yeah.
fight, I guess I don't need the volume, but then I would have had to if I was paying attention to TV, it would have been all you care about is sports and
Right,
blah
right.
blah blah. So that'd be a whole nother thing. So I
And
was
we
like,
all
no,
know that the beautiful Mrs. Peterson, that's not her name yet, but
Lauren's
we'll
are for
get there.
Lauren's are for we can.
The
I told her we
beautiful
talked about it
Lauren.
last show. She goes, no, you're, and so I gotta. She'll think it's funny that we're talking again, but she's gonna.
Did she hear what I said about her, about all the compliments I gave her?
Yeah. She said,
Oh, yes.
oh, they're so sweet. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
what a sweetheart. Yes, we
yeah.
all love Lauren on this show, but yeah, Lauren's great, and I can't believe that you were able to say no to her
No,
with those eyes.
yeah,
Oh my
right.
gosh.
No, so I dropped her off, and I picked her up later. She was pretty drunk, so whatever. Because I had to deal with that. It's just if you're sober, especially being in a relationship, you're like the sober one. You really
Mhm.
realize. I'd be like, God, I guess I am kind of like an asshole though when I'm this place and you're picking me up. So I bit the bullet for that because I just went home, wanted to watch some UFC. It was kind of a fun card, man. I don't know the Phil Rowe, who's kind of a younger prospect. He had a pretty nice knockout to start the night. It was a welterweight fight, and he kept hitting him with his knee after knee after knee, and that was just fun to watch. And usually that
Yeah,
stuff happens though, on these undercards that no one knows who these guys are. Obviously, like the
big time.
hardcore fans know, but yeah. So that was fun to watch, and it kicked off the night. There was a draw, which is my least favorite thing in all of combat sports. A fight should never end in a draw, in my opinion.
Yeah. In
I
any
get it.
sport, I don't love draws, right? I
No,
love a bit of overtime, a little bit of something, but yeah.
find something to fine tune, pick something that made one guy the winner by something, So wasn't too happy, but that was Kai. Have you seen Kai Kamaka or Kamaka or whatever?
Yeah. Very, very good fighter, yeah.
Yeah, so he went up against Danny Chavez, who I don't know a ton about Danny, but Kai outstruck him 80-53, which is what I was.
Wow.
And you're probably thinking, well, he might have had Danny probably had a lot of ground control. No, he only had one takedown, so 35 seconds of control on the ground too. So Kai got right back up. I don't understand why it was a draw. But I don't know. We could talk about because there's some. I was going to talk to you about the Dillashaw fight as well, so we can get into the judges then. And this is kind of a no name, so that was fun. There was another really good scrap where sorry, I'm looking at the result. I don't know all this off the top of my head, people, so I am looking on my phone. So.
Jared Gooden got a very good win early on.
Over Stoltz.
That was great. I did see that, and look, I also love. Particularly in women's MMA because there's a lot less finishes generally in that. I love a lovely like head kick knockout, Holly Holm Ronda Rousey style, and Cheyenne Buys got that against Gloria DePaula. So yeah, man, it was certainly one of those cards where it's a sleeper because you're not super interested.
And all this COVID shit happened, and so there's supposed to be 13 or 14 fights. There was only like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Maybe 10. Because Stoltze and Gooden was originally canceled, but then for some reason it was a false positive. You know how that goes, and they put it back on. So, but yeah, Cheyenne Buys had a nice head kick, like you said. So that was fun leading into the main event. I was pumped to watch Strickland and Hall, and we're gonna talk about Strickland in a minute, talking about that psychotic, grit about wanting to hurt people. But man, Hall, I was really disappointed. He was just eating jabs, eating jabs. He wasn't moving. He just was. He was just flat-footed. And Sean was just picked him apart. For props to Hall for not getting knocked out in that time span. Because he went all 5 rounds. And but man, Strickland just looked like he was on another planet. Like he just did whatever he wanted with him. He wanted to go to the ground. They went to the ground. 4 takedowns for Strickland as well. It's just like I don't know what Hall was doing. And one of the takedowns, Hall literally just was stiff, and he just took him down, like just tipped over. It did. And it just looked like, I don't know. I don't know where Hall's mindset was, but man, Strickland's going to be a problem for the middleweight division. He's a crazy motherfucker. Did you hear anything he said in the post-fight interview?
Look, man, Strickland is one of these guys who there's very little to say. I had so much to say about Jake Paul, about Anthony Taylor, about all of these guys. Sean Strickland, bro, he's like you say, psychotic. He's willing to fight that style of fight against someone like Uriah Hall for
Yeah,
25 minutes. Holy moly, bro.
nut job,
That's
dude.
crazy.
And
Yeah, look, and look, yeah, his post-fight interview was pretty nuts. What was your favorite part?
well, where was so I don't even know if this post it might have been in like the interview. You know how like obviously the Octagon interview, then they
Yeah.
do another interview where he said, "I want to kill somebody in the ring," and this is on quote. I want to kill somebody in the ring. It would make me happy. I don't know. I just think that it's one of my dreams to legally kill somebody in a fight. Sure, I'd be liable, but I'd have to apologize when the police get there. But it just would make me happy if I could legally kill somebody inside the ring. That are you fucking kidding me? Talk about
Yeah,
wanting to
it's
hurt
nuts.
people. And then the jacking off twice. You say you got jack off twice a day. And then he obviously talked about selling meth, right? If he wasn't fighting, he'd be selling meth in prison.
Yeah.
Man. And then did he touch on fighter pay? I know I don't know if that was in the interview, but he talked about because they're like, what would you say to someone who came up to you and wanted to be a fighter? I would say don't, because you could go do a lot of other things and make the same amount and if not more money than this. So he really hit all the nails on the head for his, whoever's the sponsor going behind him, and talk about trying to piss off Dana after winning your biggest fight of your career.
Yeah, man. Look, like I don't love the talk about killing someone in the ring. I think that
Dude,
obviously
yeah,
that's a very very touchy subject, of course. Close to our hearts here in Ireland. Obviously, how Carvalho passed away
right,
a few years ago in his fight with Charlie Ward, and obviously in it doesn't really happen so much in MMA because of the different protocols around the sports. But Patrick Day passed away in boxing, and that was tragic as well. And yeah, I don't love that kind of thing. Deontay Wilder's gone for that a little bit in the past as well, and it's very trashy, and it's kind of like I get it, I understand what you're saying, but it's just it's a little bit much. And I know like even Logan and KSI kind of went on with this sort of crack, and I think a lot of
yeah,
people kind of thought that that was a little bit much, and I just think it's something that's because of how intense and serious mixed martial arts is and boxing is, it's really not something to be fucking around with as a topic, and I
right,
certainly wouldn't necessarily endorse that. And look, that's such a boring take, right? Like there's 10,000 takes. This is one of
yeah.
my more boring ones, but yeah, I don't love that. I do love 90% of everything else he said.
Yeah, no, like he said you have to jack off twice a day or you're wasting, or he said something just fucking crazy like that.
Do you do that? Do you jack off twice a day?
I wouldn't have the stamina.
No, I certainly would not. I'm more of a no fap guy myself. I don't
Yeah,
really love the
yeah,
I think of it as more of a what's the right word? It's like a chore almost. Yeah, I certainly couldn't do that twice a day ever.
yeah. So good for him, man. If he does that, I'm just trying to read. I don't know. He just was all over the place, and yeah, the killing thing, man. Like the fact that he said it would make him happy, and like he said, like if the police showed up, like I guess I'd be liable, but it'd be legally, killing him. It's like, dude, okay, but and I would love to ask if we can ever get Anthony Taylor on here, real fighter like and we talked about it last time, flipping that switch as to where do you think
hmm
that Deshaun did he just have to that switch was still flipped and that adrenaline was still going. He just whooped Uriah Hall's ass for 25 minutes. Maybe that was still pumping, but it sounded like, and I was even listening to Brendan Schaub's Bell, it sounded like he's just kind of like that all the time. In his last fight, he was talking to the guy too. He's like, why wouldn't you go down? It was kind of it was pretty funny actually, the shit that he was saying. I don't remember who his last opponent was. Was it Hermanson? Uh,
what did you want to ask Anthony about?
like that switch, like when you're making the walk, basically, is there a switch that just flips to where you gotta not be a decent human being and you gotta kind of turn into a killer, and then obviously when the fight's over, is it easy to turn it off?
One second. Let me call him and see if he has an answer
Yeah,
for you.
that'd be great,
Let
man.
me
Oh,
see. Okay.
might be with Jake though.
He probably is.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see what he has to say. I texted him and said, "You still up?" I
You
say,
gave
"You up?"
you up. You might leave me on
Yeah,
red.
I hit him with one of those bad boys. He probably will.
Yeah.
But let's see what he has to say. about that topic because it's an interesting one, and
Yeah,
he's obviously been in there with some killers, man.
that's
But
why I would love to get a guy's take like him. But I mean, I don't even know what time it is over there. So
bro, it's in Puerto Rico, so it's probably earlier than you.
yeah,
But no,
it might be in
look,
the gym then.
he'll
But
he probably is sparring. Look, we'll talk to him another time. I
yeah,
thought I was going to get another spontaneous
that'd be fun.
introduction, like when we had Bubba on. Last was it last week's episode or a
Last
couple of
week,
weeks
yep,
ago
or 2 weeks ago,
when
yeah.
out of nowhere we were able to get a superstar. So I'm trying to bring the superstars at the last minute, but
Keep
maybe
them
if he
coming.
calls me back, we can ask him that great question. But let's go on with the conversation as we
Yeah,
were discussing it. And yeah, Sean is a very very good fighter. He's obviously that goes without saying. What a stupid thing for me to even say. But he's yeah, look, Uriah Hall is no joker. Uriah Hall is someone who has the capacity to very severely hurt people in the cage, as
yep,
we saw obviously in The Ultimate Fighter years ago, and obviously he was able to pretty brutally put down Anderson Silva at Halloween last year. So yeah, man, th- this is definitely a guy who is a big player going forward in the middleweight division.
yeah. So looking forward to, I guess, his pressers in the future because obviously after a fight like that, I don't know if they've talked about his next, who his next match. I'm sure it'll be on a pay-per-view. If anything, well, obviously it's not going to be the headline, but I'm sure he'll be on the main card. So that'll be a
Bro, he's
fun
been
build up
around the
there.
UFC so long. Like
That
I was casual for a long time, but I remember him like he only has a couple of losses. He's beat some unbelievable fighters. He beat Tom Breeze. I know he lost to Kamaru Usman, and I know he lost to Santiago Ponzinibbio, but
yeah,
like Jesus, man, Santiago Ponzinibbio and Kamaru Usman, not too bad losses to have on your record. I believe at one stage he was like 15 or 16-0,
yep,
and yeah, like he's a real problem at middleweight. He's probably a real problem at welterweight too, to be honest with you.
yeah.
He probably doesn't want to get down there anymore. But yeah, I reckon. Look, he's on a what is it, 5, 6 fight win streak at this
One,
stage.
two,
So
three, four. Yeah, five. It looks like, I mean, I guess six out of his last seven, or yeah, because he lost
yeah,
to Well, yeah, Usman. I mean, and how? Okay, you lost to Kamara Usman. Whatever. Good for you.
literally
You're stepping
everybody
in the
else
ring with
did,
him.
right?
Yeah. So is
Nobody ever
everyone
beat
else.
that guy. Who
But
beat him? Someone beat him on like the regional scene when he was still like coming up from being a wrestler. But
yeah,
otherwise, yeah, Kamaru Usman is literally the pound for pound best fighter in the world right now,
right.
probably.
He's
So I
scary
said
on the ground.
literally probably, but I would imagine he's the pound for pound best fighter in the world, and I actually think Colby Covington might beat him, but
Yeah.
otherwise,
Yeah, which is and what
he's
I was going to talk about that in a minute, but yeah, I could talk about Sean Strickland because dude, he's just I don't know, I just found that so interesting looking at his interviews and he beat Brandon Allen pretty handedly.
mhm.
And he also beat is it Jotko or I know how it's Kristolov. I don't know how to say their damn names. I know who they are, okay? Jotko or Jotko or whatever. I don't It's the same with Habib sort of bit, but
Right, yeah.
he finished him as well, and then what he just did to Uriah Hall. So yeah, we'll be seeing a lot of Sean Strickland in the near future. But other than that, yeah, we didn't chat. Did we chat about the Dillashaw? No, because that was 2 weeks ago, right? The Dillashaw.
I believe
Um,
Dillashaw was coming up on the
yeah, that's
Saturday
right.
night.
He was because we were
When
talking about the PEDs and stuff. So let's touch on.
yes,
I mean, that quick. First of all, what did you think of the decision? For one,
I
there's a lot.
thought fair.
Yeah,
I think people are really getting wound up. I look, Dillashaw is one of these guys. He doesn't even come across like that bad of a bloke, to be honest.
yeah,
He just comes across like someone who just has like he's like he's got that the opposite of Bubba's energy, right? Like
yeah.
Bubba's like a naturally infectious, great positive energy. I think Dillashaw has the opposite, where he's kind of got an infectiously kind of negative aura. Like people just want to hate him for some reason.
And
He actually comes across like not that bad of a bloke, and I
he's
think he won the fight.
yeah. I was gonna say he said that too. He's like, well, the only reason people view me as a villain is because of Connor, because that was when Connor
Yeah,
was upcoming on Ultimate Fighter, and he just the snake in the grass. There he is, the snake, and he goes, so
yeah.
whatever, fuck it. If people want to view me as that, I don't really care. But yeah, what like you said, Sandhagen was giving him the back a lot, and like a
Hmm.
lot, and and Sandhagen even kind of said it. You could always tell he was pissed about it in the interview. He's like, if you it's mixed martial arts, and if you scored on damage, I win. And well, that's like the most casual thing too, is what casuals say. Look at TJ's face and look at his face. Tell me who won. Well, not necessarily, because you could even say TJ came back and won that first round. I know the fourth round was kind of controversial, but
if you did the old face test, Nate
Yeah.
Diaz would never have won a fight in his life.
in his career.
He would be like 0-50, dude.
Yeah.
This guy has never won the face test.
And
So
forever, dude. Yeah, but I thought it was funny, but Sandhagen was kind of like, he's like, he had me on the cage, but he wasn't really doing anything. But it's like at the same time, okay, but TJ is pressuring at that point. He is, he had, like you said, he kept giving your back. You shouldn't have done that. And even TJ, because TJ fucked up his knee pretty early. He got that gash pretty early. That was incredible to see him, still strike the way he was striking, and then did what he did after sustaining those injuries, which I thought was very early in the fight.
Yeah, it was like he's got the heart of a lion, man. And
Yeah.
look, maybe he did some PEDs in the past. No, definitely he did some PEDs in the past.
Yeah.
But he's, there's no reason to believe that now they wouldn't have caught it. Like, you would think he's just getting like tested up the wazoo.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that he's probably clean now, and Sandhagen is legitimately.
Yeah. And he'll be back. Yeah, Sandhagen.
I think Sandhagen is right now the second best bantamweight in the UFC. I believe Peter Yan is the best. I believe that Aljamain Sterling, who is the quote-unquote champion, is the I believe he's the third best, and I guess Dillashaw just beat the number 2 guy, so I guess Aljo's now to 4, and I guess Dillashaw has announced himself back in the bantamweight title picture. He never lost that belt. He lost to Henry Cejudo at flyweight.
He did, that's right. And then he lost to USADA.
He lost to USADA, he lost to Cejudo at flyweight. But that Cejudo fight was a kind of contentious finish as well. Yeah. That wasn't really one where people were like 100% sure, yeah, Henry definitely stopped him.
No,
so,
he was going for the knee or whatever. I remember that, and he was, and I think it was at the end of the round too, was it not?
No, it was pretty early. It was like 50 seconds in, but it was like Cejudo had a couple of those because it was the same with Dominic Cruz, kind of. But he's Dillashaw's look. He's right back in at the top of that division. I'd love to see Dillashaw fight Peter Yan.
Yeah,
bantamweight is so sick at the moment, man. Like even like at the lowest echelons of bantamweight, you got Sean O'Malley.
Yeah, and
Garbrandt is still floating around.
Well, and you see he's fighting flyweight now, dude. I don't know what. Yeah, look,
he's moved down. I think fighters do this all the time when they're on a bad streak. They move up, they move down. For me, if I were Garbrandt, I would have tried to see how my power translates at 145. To be honest, I don't know about moving down, but 135 I think is his division, and he'll find that out. He'll struggle at flyweight. He might win a couple of fights, but he'll struggle to make it down there.
The cut.
And I think look, Garbrandt's still a very, very high level fighter. Dominic Cruz evidently still a very, very high level fighter, and then of course. Yeah, like we've mentioned, those top few guys. You got 4 very, very, very difficult matchups. I think Peter Yan is going to handily get the job done in his rematch with Aljamain Sterling. I think personally, there's actually an argument to be made. There are photo angles where Sterling is not fully grounded. There's no like there are angles where you could argue maybe he's less than an inch away, but he's not on the ground. And people forget that yes, it was a DQ. But assuming it were like 1FC rules or something, that was a highlight reel knockout for Peter Yan.
Yeah.
He destroyed Aljamain Sterling over 3 rounds, and in the 4th, he threw a knee to the head that knocked Aljamain Sterling out. So you've got some very, very high level fighters there, and I think, for me, I think Dillashaw's right up there. I would love to see Dillashaw versus Peter Yan either towards the end of the year or the start of next year, probably. I'd also love to see, like, I wouldn't mind seeing Dillashaw fight Sandhagen again, to be honest with you. It was such a good fight. I'd be stunned if they did that. But, yeah, man, I think Dillashaw has announced himself. He beat the number 2 guy, in my opinion, and number 1 guy that isn't fighting for a belt. And I think he now commands a title opportunity again.
Yeah, that division just say. Could we ever see an O'Malley versus Sandhagen? Or do you think O'Malley's got to work his way back, or work his not back up, but up there, because he's not beating top 10 guys, right? I mean,
no, certainly not.
He's not beating ranked guys. So I remember we talked about this last time, but I just want to know who they're going to give him. I saw Garbrandt. Obviously, did you see Garbrandt's Instagram post of it was O'Malley when he lost to Cheeto, and Garbrandt goes, after I get the strap at at flyweight, don't worry, I'll come make sure. He's like, make sure you leave the octagon like this again. So yeah, it was pretty funny. But
Yeah, look, O'Malley, there's really no way of knowing how good he is.
right,
He didn't. He landed a lot, but he's got like part of his appeal is his like scary knockout power, right? And he wasn't really showing that knockout power against Chris Moutinho. Chris Moutinho is not a particularly high level fighter, and he was not able to finish him. Obviously, the fight ended in a finish. That wasn't a finish. I think for me, you needed the extra 30 seconds just to give Moutinho his chance. And if you were, we said all of this the last time I was on.
Yeah.
If he was going to stop it, why didn't he stop it in the second, right?
Yeah.
We needed to finish it with 30 seconds to go. Come on, bro. So I think O'Malley really needs to prove himself. I'd love to see him fight Ricky Simone. I think that's probably the natural next fight. Maybe Brian Boom Kelleher.
Yeah.
And that's like a good level check fight, like Eddie
really see what
Wineland
he's
was
about.
a great win.
Yeah,
I thought.
and it wasn't even that much of a power kick. I mean, he gave him the old 1-2 and kind of just hit him right in the button. He is very technical. He knows where to hit you, but it'd be fun to watch, like you said, against like a guy like Simone who has some power, himself, as to where he kind of Sean just kind of toyed with the Cheeto he doesn't call it as a fight, and we talked about that too. But
I think that a really fun fight. I would be surprised if they made it. I spoke to this guy about it a little bit. I think Uriah Faber would be a fun fight. Kind of your kind of doppelganger almost. I think you look a little bit like Uriah Faber.
Me and the Golden Boy. He's got a little. Yeah, their chins are kind of the same, but he's
his is much more accentuated, like a real bum, bro.
Yeah, he's a little more built too. But no, because he fought Jan. When was that? 2 years ago, he got his ass whooped, but
got obliterated.
Yeah, and that's when Jan was really. Everyone was kind of like, okay, Jan's here and he's on the scene, probably gonna be a champion. But that was tough to watch because I remember Uriah's his wife and daughter were in the front row, and they're on the cage at one point. He was waving, saying, "I'm okay," and then he just got the shit beat out of him. But
yeah, that was you're right, tough to watch. But I would love to see. Yeah, Uriah Faber would be a great indicator of what level the Sean O'Malley is at. Like, oh yeah, if he could beat Uriah Faber, then yeah, he's in the contention. But Sean O'Malley's also super young, I believe.
Yeah.
20, is he like 26 maybe?
Yeah, mid-20s, even if that. I wish we had Bubba as our producer to look it up. No, let me look it up, Sean, because I want to see.
Yeah, Sean, he's 26 years old.
26, I was gonna say,
born in '94. And yeah, I think we need to start now seeing a couple of steps up because he should have probably beat Moutinho. And to be honest with you, like I don't love the idea of having kind of fighters building up their records in the UFC.
Yeah,
like, I don't think it's like obviously like even my countryman Dean Barry, who is now signed to the UFC, he was signed to fight Mike Jackson a couple of times, and I thought, Mike Jackson 1-on-1. Okay fighter, but I don't love a 4-on-1 fighter against a 1-on-1 fighter in the UFC.
Yeah,
I don't really think that that's like what the UFC is all about. That's like a PFL fight. That's like a Bellator fight. It's not really a UFC caliber fight. So yeah, look, I think it's time now for Sean O'Malley to start taking the steps up and start showing a little bit of the level that he's at, and yeah, I would love to see him fight Uriah Faber, but I think more likely probably Brian Kelleher or Ricky Simone.
Yeah, so hopefully we can see that. But either way, yeah, bantamweight, sick. Whatever fight they make, it'll be a fun one. So got a card that took quite the hit this Saturday. That's it is what it is. I don't think it was gonna be. Like, I don't know. I don't think Nunez was going to even really break a sweat again. It was almost going to be like I was feeling, more of a Megan Anderson feel. I know they always try to hype these up, like whoever's going to take her on, I just don't see a Ronda Rousey fall off with Amanda Nunez. So that's just me. Yeah. I don't know if you feel the same.
Look, it's a young, like MMA is a young sport. What we're talking 26, maybe 30 years old.
Yep.
Women's MMA is way younger than that even, and they are still developing really high level elite athletes, and that's why Chris Cyborg is able to very handily dominate in Bellator.
Yeah.
She was dominant for a long time in the UFC. I think she probably gives Amanda Nunes her best fight if they fight again. I don't think Nunes knocks her out in 40 seconds again like she did the
Yeah.
last time, but otherwise, yeah, it's a tough sell, man.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing Nunes just fight Holly Holm for another 5, 6 times, because
Yeah.
that's the only other
Seriously.
real interesting prospect. I wouldn't mind seeing Nunes maybe jump over to boxing, get in there with Katie Taylor.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, yeah, she's not a pay-per-view draw. She is, and that's not on her, right? Like
Right.
she's done everything she needs to do. She fights all the time. But look, when you're that dominant, when your division is that weak, I mean, she like featherweight. I know that this was going to be a bantamweight title defense, but featherweight, where she's the one of the champions, is like it's horrifically understaffed in the UFC. Like there's people always talk about, oh, is the UFC's welterweight division as better than Bellator's, or sorry, is Bellator's welterweight division better than UFC's, or is Bellator's light heavyweight at this stage better than UFC? And
Yeah.
I think there isn't even a discussion, because there is no featherweight division in the UFC, and Bellator is probably where Amanda Nunes would need to be if she wanted to be, really,
Yeah.
really a big moneymaker and a big draw. So I'm sure she does all right for herself. But if I were her, I would, yeah. Look, I hope she comes back and keeps fighting.
Yeah.
But
And
she's a very very high level competitor, and I think that that's difficult sometimes, because it's not necessarily the most high level of sports, women's MMA, and there's a lot of people who are able to earn themselves title shots perhaps earlier than needs be, and it's a little bit up in the air. So yeah, I don't think that card's taking too much of a hit. But what about Derek Lewis, man?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So, and I know obviously the controversy behind Ngannou's wasn't too pleased, because he was like, I remember when I had my interim title fight, and he's like, oh wait, but he literally said to Dana so it was Ngannou's manager, right, who went at it with Dana on Instagram, or in an Instagram comment. He's like,
Hmm.
because he said, we're totally shocked by this news, and Dana's like, what the fuck are you talking about? We literally discussed this. It doesn't hurt Ngannou at all. He's just not ready to fight right now, which is fine. Because he said late September, in the mid fall maybe. And I would love to pull that post. I have no idea what one it was on, but that's kind of how it went, right? And so Stipe kind of had the same deal, where was it after he beat, was it Rockhold or whomever? And I don't remember what Stipe was doing, but his leg was pretty fucked up. And so Dana asked him, he's like, can you fight? And Stipe's like, no, look at my leg, dude. And so he literally couldn't fight. And Dana goes, okay, then I can't remember who the two were for the interim fight, but Stipe is like, cool, okay, because it doesn't affect him. So I don't know why
Yeah.
Francis and his team were so upset about this. Any idea there? And do you know the name of his manager?
Yo, I couldn't tell you, but I do know that MMA fans need to start watching boxing if they're going to
Yeah,
get annoyed by interim title fights being made. There's a new belt every 2 seconds in boxing, bro.
yeah,
I
right.
think we need to just relax. It's not a big deal. We know who the champion is. Francis Ngannou is the world champion. No matter who ends up winning this belt over the weekend, he's going
It's
to be the world champion regardless. And I hope Derek Lewis wins, man. That'd be so much
dude.
fun.
And like I said, Cyril Gane, he's 9-0. Cyril Gane, and he is, talk about his fucking athleticism. What a freak, right? He barely gets touched in these fights. His footwork is phenomenal. He's quick. He's just kind of, he's got a good fight IQ. So that's why I don't know. I'm really interested in this fight. I can see some people thinking Lewis doesn't have a chance, but look at Lewis's last fight. He was losing to Volkov. Was it, because I think that was his last fight, right? And he
Hmm.
made that comeback knockout. And God, I just love Derek Lewis. So and that's a
I
tough.
too think that Derek Lewis has no chance.
I
I
think,
just
yeah,
don't.
yeah. I
I
don't know.
I would love for him to be wrong, and I've been wrong so many times before. I
Yeah,
thought he didn't have a chance against
me as
Curtis
well.
Blades.
Yep.
I thought he didn't have a chance against Francis Ngannou. I thought that he didn't have a chance against loads of people. I thought he didn't have a chance against Daniel Cormier. I was right.
Yep, there you got
But
it.
generally he is a really, really, really impressive operator. And I certainly didn't think he had a chance against Volkov, and he knocked him out. So yeah, I mean, Cyril Gane has to be perfect. It's like Deontay Wilder in a sense. It's like Cyril Gane has to be perfect for 25 minutes of mixed martial arts. Derek Lewis only has to be perfect for 2 seconds to land that punch.
Right. And yeah, he's got some scary power. So is this in,
Big
and this
time.
is in Houston, right? Which is
It's hometown.
hometown. So man, is that place going to be going? So you got to put that into effect. It is a factor, as much as some people act like it's not. It is. So when he
Bro,
walks
it's
out
gonna be
there,
sick.
yeah, it's going to be fucking
And
electric. But yeah, man, Cyril's just, I don't know. It's just, it's a weird, he's almost like a weird heavyweight, you know?
well, it's just that you don't see in mixed martial arts. A lot of my friends will talk about this at heavyweight. Generally, most of the truly elite athletes at that weight class are doing basketball, they're doing football, they're doing
Right.
if they're not really that elite, they might do boxing. It's very rare that you see a very high level heavyweight fighter, particularly out of somewhere like France.
Yeah.
There's rugby to be played there. Like they've got very, very good rugby in France. And for someone that size to do mixed martial arts and to be that good is it's remarkable, and yeah, his footwork is like Tyson Fury. He's able to elude so easily. I think, to be honest with you, if he fights to 100% of his ability and is able to be perfect for 25 minutes, Derek Lewis is going to look very, very average. But
If he fucks up and he catches one of those shots, I don't know if he's going to survive.
it really is nuts, bro. Like, it's such a. Derek Lewis fights cannot be missed
No, they're
because
so fun. Yeah.
you should have just slept through the Lewis and Blades fight. Yeah,
Yeah.
Curtis Blades gonna take him down for 25 minutes and hug him, and he's gonna beat him, and it's blah blah blah. Derek Lewis knocked Curtis Blades the fuck out, man. That was brutal.
That
That
was,
knockout. I didn't know if Curtis Blades was gonna get back up from it.
and I think Dana was happy
And
to see that too, by the way.
yeah, it caused some issues, man. But yeah, I think not only is Lewis gonna struggle in this one, I think we've got a hell of a card in our hands. I
Yeah.
think Aldo versus Munoz is a great fight, but
Another bantamweight. Yeah.
the real fascinating fight for me is Luque versus Chiesa.
Dude, I was literally going to bring that up.
Bro,
Chiesa's been on a bit of a tear. Luque is
big
a
time.
fucking killer. Like I'm looking at the odds. It's +1. It's even money. Pick 'em. Which in the UFC world, you really know Vegas has no fucking idea what's gonna happen. So, who did Chiesa just beat? I'm pulling it up here since we don't have. But Neil Magny. He had a
Yeah.
and it was a fight night. He was the main card, and he beat him, decision.
This is during the week of Conor and Poirier too, when they did
Yes.
3 fights in a week in Dubai. Yeah.
Correct. Yep. And yeah, I remember watching this. I was watching Chiesa. I was like, holy shit, man. He's like Neil Magny's not a pushover by any means, and he's
No
doing
way.
what he wanted with him. So, and because Luque fought back in, God, if we had a producer, we'd be better than Joe Rogan.
No, look, Luque obviously beat Tyron Woodley in his last fight out.
Right. Yeah.
And he's beaten like Randy Brown is a great win. Nico Price.
The Price fight, which was ridiculous, by the way. That was a hell of a
Yeah,
fight.
it's crazy, man. But yeah, Luca's a violent fighter, and yeah, he's definitely someone to look out for. This is a pick'em, bro.
Yeah.
This one is a legitimate pick'em.
No idea.
I think I know that the bookies have Luque as a slight favorite. Like he might be like -100 or something,
Yeah.
which is essentially like not really much of a favorite. But it's yeah, man, this is so fascinating. It's impossible to bet against Michael Chiesa for me.
Right. So I don't know. I'll be betting on these fights. You better believe that. But I literally might just not bet on it and watch as a fan. which is rare for me.
Are you going to
At
be
least,
able to bet on these fights? Have you got any money left after Vegas?
see, that's the thing. Not really. I'm gonna have to ask. I'll have to ask Jack because I don't. Well, no, he's broke too. I don't
Yeah.
know if Jake gambled that much. So Jake, if you can fund the gambling addiction in this company, so it'll be on Jake. But even not even going past like Tasha Torres and Angela Hill, I don't know who's gonna win that one because Angela Hill, she can cause some damage pretty quick. And but same with Tasha Torres, like fuck.
It's another like these are two very impressive women, and particularly, yeah, look, Angela Hill is one of these fighters who very much exemplifies this idea we were talking about earlier, where MMA records don't really matter too much.
No, yeah,
Like you would think, like 13-9 is not a UFC level record, but she's so tough. She had some very close decisions not go her way, and
yep.
yeah, I think like this card from top to bottom is crazy,
Because
man.
I mean,
I can't.
Alonzo Menfield is on the undercard even. Dude, Alonzo
Yeah,
built like a brick.
Karolina Kovalevich.
Yeah, like
She is fighting Jessica Penn. Like these are huge fights, bro.
all the way down to the bottom, man. And yeah,
It's
like yeah,
nuts.
I'll be ass and seat. I'll just tell Lauren I'm hungover again. But yeah, like even Bobby
Don't
Green,
listen to this, Lauren.
yeah, we'll make sure to release this after the fights. But like Bobby Green and Fiziev, man.
Yo, that's the fight I personally am most excited for. Bobby Green, super exciting. I love watching his Instagram lives. I love watching him on social media, and then he gets in the cage. He's a dog, bro. And you got so you finished the prelims with Fiziev and Bobby Green, and look, Fiziev's going to be a massive favorite in that fight.
minus 330, 300, yeah.
Yeah, but I also love this Song Yadong Casey Kenny
Yeah,
fight.
I love Song
So
Yadong, dude. I always play him in DraftKings when I lose money, but he's like
this is one. This is like a pay per view for the hardcores. Like, yeah, this is a top pay per view card, and I'm very very excited for
yeah,
90% of the fights on this card. It's
yeah,
a massive card too. I'd imagine we might lose one or two from COVID, but yeah,
yeah. Hopefully
this is
not.
huge, bro.
But because well, Casey had that he lost a decision to Cruz, which like you said, Cruz is apparently a good fighter all of a sudden. But he had a decent win streak going before that. Even he beat like guys like Louis Smolka. So yeah, this card is sick. Well, and we could talk about this for 3 hours, like you said, but I know it's getting late your time. But 'cause I really wanted to get first of all, do they have a date for Covington Usman too? Do they have?
It's looking like November 6th in Madison Square Garden.
Good Lord, man, I am so fucking excited to watch those two fight. And remember, so the last time they fought, there's some bad blood there, right? Obviously with Colby, and he
Big
plays
time.
this character, which I've heard and seen on multiple podcasts and interviews where guys are like, Colby's actually a super nice guy. He's like when you train with him, he's very helpful and he puts on this act. But I think the biggest issue is obviously people not necessarily UFC fans, but just the general public with him supporting Trump, which is an issue obviously in America.
Yeah.
But we don't need to get into that. But it was looking like, are they gonna put Michael Chandler on that card against Gaethje as well?
Yeah, that's what Tapology has as the two main fights that are announced right now. The plan was for Jan to fight Sterling on that card. I
Yep.
was told by some sources that was the initial plan ages ago,
Yeah.
and then obviously that got moved to Fight Island, I believe, because the New York Commission don't love Aljamain Sterling fighting after taking a concussive knee to the head like he did, and so.
Right.
I think, yeah, he's going to fight on Fight Island. He's totally healthy. It's just that New York is, how New York is with MMA.
And
Um,
I also, by the way, I don't think that Dana is going to keep the Usman card there. I think he's going to pull it after New York just came out with that vaccination thing today. And hey, everyone settle down.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this. Dana is the one who doesn't like putting up with that shit. And I remember, he's only been fighting in Texas and
Yeah.
Florida. And I don't even know if he's going to go to Vegas now that they put their mask mandate back in place. So don't be surprised if he pulls that card from MSG.
yeah, it looks like he pulled the London card because of the same
Yep.
reasons, because London is open at the moment fully, but they are implementing once every single person has been offered both doses of the vaccine, they're implementing vaccine rules. So at that point, it's like, oh, well, you definitely chose not to. So That's going to be pretty devastating for the O2 Arena, I'm sure. And
Yep.
yeah, I would love for this fight to happen in MSG. It's just
Yeah.
MSG is such a great arena. I'd love to go over for it, and surely the ban will be over by November. Come on, Sleepy Joe,
Yeah.
let
Come on.
me in, bro. But
We'll meet you over there, man, and that could be a fun fucking weekend. We could get some shit done
yo,
there. So
how sick would it be, right? We meet in New York, and then I get the flight back to
to
Minnesota with
Minnesota.
you.
And
That would be fire. That would be so sick. But yeah, I look, they're probably gonna pull it. Maybe they'll move it to Minnesota. What's the mask mandates
that
like in Minnesota?
none, dude. We're full go here. I know.
You're
And we
just
were,
reopened like Florida level.
yeah, we were one of the
So
last fucking state, like the Twins, the baseball team here, fully 100% no like, and some restaurants still have the mask mandate or wear a mask, but basically places just say it's optional, but we appreciate if you're vaccinated, which is what I've seen a lot of the signs. But yeah,
right.
we're full go, man. So come.
So
I'd be the first person to buy a fucking
this is
ticket.
nuts, bro.
So,
If this were open, if I could get on a plane right now and I could arrive there, if I walked into a nightclub, what's the big nightclub near you? What's the hot spot?
Everyone's favorite is Cowboy Jack's. I don't like to go out. There's like 8 of them too. So there's one in downtown Minneapolis. There's one in Apple Valley. There's one I'm naming all these cities. You have no idea where. They're all close.
Right,
It's like
right.
We have like the city area and whatnot. But yeah, so if you were here, I'd bite the bullet. We go to Cowboy Jack's or North Loop is
Right.
like
So if I walked into Cowboy Jack's right now, and Cowboy Jack's open till what time?
2 a.m.
2 a.m. So if
Yep.
I walked into Cowboy Jack's, and that's 2 a.m. like pre-COVID, like just in the normal world, it would open till 2.
Yep.
And there's
fine.
nowhere open till 4 there, is there?
No, which just sucks. But
Okay.
yeah.
So right, let's say I walk into Cowboy Jack's. It's 11:30. They just let me in. No
Yep.
worries.
Nothing. You just get ID'd and you're wide open. It's been shoulder.
Bruh.
It's been shoulder to shoulder. When we've been going to bars, dude. It's been full. It's fun because
Bro.
I missed that so much. So yeah, you got to get over here.
That's heartbreaking, man. This football match I was at tonight, bro. It was.
I saw that empty. Ugh.
Yeah, we were full to capacity, bro. These tickets were hard to get.
Yeah.
56,000 seat stadium, 8,000 people were allowed in.
Yeah.
Like, look, Bows wouldn't fill that stadium anyway. Like, Bows' average attendance pre-COVID was no more than, like, they wouldn't have been getting more than 1,500 people going to all the games. Not 50,000, 1,500. But because obviously these are like pilot events to get sport back, they allow like a bigger capacity in the Aviva Stadium. Bows don't play in the Aviva Stadium. Usually that's like the Aviva is kind of like it's like the national stadium. It's like Wembley in London, and so they've used the Aviva so that they can test out bringing sporting events back with fans.
Yeah.
But we're so far behind. We're still doing the 8,000 and a 56,000 seat stadium, and it's been a year and a half. It's been almost 2 years, and so hearing about Cowboy Jacks.
I like Pirate
Cowboy
Jacks better,
Jacks.
though. Yeah, I like that
Yeah,
better.
so Cowboy Jacks, hearing about this place that just sounds like paradise to me.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of these girls, I can't remember what her name was, but I was talking to one of these, Liz was her name, on one of Bubba's streams.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And I was telling her if I was in Minnesota, because I don't know anything about Minnesota, but I was saying I would take you out to Cowboy Jacks. She did not think that was very romantic.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's kind of a bleh, but I don't know. Yeah, and I'm not a big, like I said, downtown's not really my scene anymore. I would rather just go to a fucking dive bar where we can play pool and
Hell yes,
throw some darts and have some cheap pictures of.
Do you think Liz would go to a dive bar with us?
It sounds like it because from when I talked to her with Bubba, I've never met her in person, but I know that those guys are always at a bar. Her and that Alex Micheletti, who is one of our good friends, I see him out with those chicks at happy hour all the time. So and I think there's this bar called Moose on Monroe where they go to karaoke on Sundays.
Yo, I'll try to do karaoke with you and Bubba, dude. I want to do with Bubba. Yeah, he's got a beautiful voice. He's a great operatic singer. I want to do Don't Go Breaking My Heart.
Yeah, that would go. We go viral.
Bro, that would be so sick. Me and Bubba, the heaviest duet in music history. It's gonna be beautiful, man. Yeah, but this all sounds so great because Ireland is just so ridiculously far behind. But to go back to what we were initially talking about, it would be devastating if they move it from New York because New York needs these big events. You know, it's a city that's very near and dear to my heart. It's my favorite city in the whole world. I'm sorry, Minneapolis. I haven't been there yet. Maybe that'll change when I'm in Minneapolis. but it's really a beautiful place, and they need this stuff back. And I know they've been reopening very well, very I think at a reasonable pace. Ireland's obviously been a million miles behind, and I know that California has been pretty tough, but I think they need big sporting events like this. And yeah, I don't love the divisive mandates. I don't love the you need to be vaccinated to do X, Y, Z,
Right.
particularly gyms, right? I
Yeah.
think that the gym is to be honest with you, I think gyms are sacred places. I think that
Yeah. The
gyms should
state.
never be like I saw some stuff, and it's like going to the gym is equally as good for you if you're our age. It's
Yeah.
equally as good for you as the vaccine in terms of protecting your chance of not getting sick, right?
Yep.
Because I don't know, you're what, like 26, right?
26. Yep.
26, I'm 23.
Yeah.
You know, guys our age do not die of COVID. This is
Mm-hmm.
a like a statistical fact. It's so rare, and when they find a guy our age who died, it gets in the news every time,
Mm-hmm.
and it's always some guy who's like who would make me look skinny, bro. Like these are
Yep.
always like obscenely overweight people, and yeah. So I think that yeah, that these divisive mandates, Dana White's probably, you're right, not going to go for that, and so
No.
yeah,
Yeah.
look, that event probably does get moved. Maybe it gets moved to Minnesota.
That'd be fucking awesome. Come down to the Target Center. Oh man, you'd have to book the first flight over here. Get some sort of
Bruh,
special. I don't know. Hopefully by
I'll get
November.
I'll get a national interest exemption for that one.
Yeah, yeah. Because boy, would we have we could do a whole. That'd be like a whole week. Fuck for leading up to that. So that would be
Hell yes.
that's the dream. But
But who wins, Usman versus Covington?
dude,
Part two.
it's I'm never right on this anyway, but I like to go bold. Last time those two fought, right? And everyone's like, oh, he broke his fucking jaw. Colby was talking all this shit. But it's
Yeah.
not like Colby was out of the fight, right?
No way.
He was keeping up and he was landing some shots. It's just Usman is a fucking I think one of the scariest, if not the scariest man behind Francis in the entire UFC and on all of combat sports. Obviously besides like the heavyweight boxers, that's just a different thing. But I don't know. I think Covington could he's had some time off. He's obviously going to be very determined to get this win back, and because if he loses this one, he's probably not going to get another title shot again for a while. Poor Leon Edwards, he just can't catch a break, by the way. How many fights does that guy have to fucking win to get a shot at the title, which obviously he'll get the winner. I can't imagine they would give it to anybody else, but if Colby doesn't pull us off, he's going to have to, climb his way back up. Not drastically, but he's going to have to win a few fights. So I don't know. I could see Colby kind of shocking the world, and it would piss a lot of people off, which would be good for the UFC because it would – a lot of clicks and a lot of views. So that's my take. I think Colby can get it done.
I'm a huge Colby guy.
Yep.
Full disclosure, there'll be no bipartisan down the middle calling. I just would love Colby Covington to be the UFC champion. He's so great for the sport. He's so great for the wider society that we live in. He's just someone that we as a community, as a people, need to have around right now. Someone who really, I think the most interesting part is that people assume that like, oh, it's all a character. It's all just him winding people up. No, I believe that he's like 50% that guy.
Yeah.
I don't think that he goes around calling Brazilians filthy animals, but I do believe that he loves his country. Which, by the way, makes him a bad guy, makes him a heel, right?
That's what
loving his country.
That's.
I think that he loves his president, and he obviously not the president anymore, but he loves Trump, and that's another thing. Yeah, that makes you a heel for supporting the former president. But
that's the orange bad Twitter. But like I said, we could do another podcast on that.
But that's for when I'm on That's a Bit. That's for when I'm on 10K Politics.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which I know nothing about. By the way, if anyone does happen to be listening an hour and a half into this show, I'm an idiot, dude. I don't know anything about politics.
I'm right there with you. I know. I'm sure someone would reply to this or say something. We are just shooting the shit. So relax.
Yeah, we're dumbasses, dude. No, we don't know anything. We're idiots. These are all opinions. Maybe a fuckload of people our age did die of COVID, and we
Yeah.
just don't know about it, right? Maybe the fucking numbers are all whacked. But anywho, we don't know anything, man.
Yeah.
So don't come at us with any of this stuff. But yeah, I love Colby. I think he's amazing. I think he's one of the greatest things to happen to MMA in a long, long time. And I really would love, because by the way, his real life story is super inspirational too. Grew up in a trailer park.
Yeah.
From that to being a millionaire, maybe not a millionaire yet, but a very highly paid, top tier UFC fighter, top level athlete. I'm so big on Colby Covington, and I love Usman too. Usman's a
Right.
very good guy. He very politely gave me the time of day when I was in Miami for the Jake Paul fight at the red
That's
carpet.
awesome.
He was a very, very kind when I met him that time, and so I love Usman as well. But I can't go against my guy Colby, my
Yep.
favorite fighter maybe ever, and I would just love to see him win the title. And I also would love to see a trilogy,
Yeah.
a
Because
third
that,
fight between those two. Whew.
and then boy, poor Leon Edwards he's just sitting there
Oh
in the front
man.
row. But
Oh
um,
Leon,
that guy
bro.
just, yeah, he can't. He'll get it. He just needs to be very, very, very patient. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
I like you said, I love Usman too. I have him as the header on the Twitter profile that we just made, for 10K MMA.
Hmm.
I think Usman, great guy, great champion, dominant champion. It'd be fun to see him lose and come back, because who the hell knows what he would do on a comeback and a trilogy fight with Usman Colby when it's 1-1. That's, yeah, maybe throw Conor in there after. No, well, maybe. I don't think he
Yeah.
would ever co-main a pay-per-view, but we're talking setting the goal big, which is Conor. And I was going to talk, we can wrap it up with this last just piece on
Let's do it.
Conor. Did you see, I don't know if we talked about this because I think it was recent, about his tweet about Khabib's father, and with COVID being good and Khabib's father being evil. And because I don't know, man, is Conor just in a fucking dark place right now, and he doesn't know how to handle this loss? And he's, I mean, I sent you that TikTok too. It kind of bummed me out watching that. It's just like the end of an era. And putting all that shit aside, like, is he just kind of taking this too far? What, and I know, I don't know if the thoughts on him have changed. I know we already spoke about this obviously in the last pocket briefly, by the way, because we were talking about so much other shit. But what the hell's going on with him?
God almighty, yeah, bro. Look, it's going to be very difficult for me to say too much bad about Connor.
Right.
Like, at the end of the day, you talk about end of an era, you talk about, obviously he shouldn't have said those misogynistic things about Dustin Poirier's wife, right?
Right.
Obviously he shouldn't have tweeted about Khabib's dad. These are
Yeah.
bad, yeah. But God almighty, like, we literally wouldn't be here if it weren't for this guy. I wouldn't,
Yep.
like, I don't think we give each other the credit, like what Connor has done for so many people, in terms of, like, whatever about, like, inspiring millions and all this other stuff. Literally, economically, this, like, Vegas booms whenever he shows up.
Yeah.
Friendships are made through being fans of Conor McGregor. People have lifelong memories from going to these Conor fights, and I just think it is sad.
Yeah.
It is sad to see it going the way it's going at the moment. Look, he shouldn't have said that about Khabib's dad, and he knows he shouldn't have said it. That's why he deleted it.
Right.
He's in a very difficult position right now. He's coming off the back of a very severe injury. He just had surgery. Yeah, if I were him, I'd hang up the Twitter gloves right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I would log out on my phone. I would delete the app, and I would hand someone a sheet of paper with all my passwords on it and say, "Look,
Change it.
keep
Yeah.
people posted on me." But yeah, I just think, yeah, he bad choice of words.
Hmm.
Not much more you can say than that. Like, I also just, I can't be dealing with people like moralizing, like, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. It was a
Right.
it was a classless tweet at the end of the day, but obviously shouldn't have done it. Poor form, but God Almighty, the legacy of Conor McGregor, please God, is going to be positive because he's done so much good. But
Hmm.
this is just a poor state of affair he finds himself in, and what he needs to do is just, Connor, if you're watching, maybe you follow me, right? Maybe
Yeah,
I'll
he
retweet
does.
this and
Yep.
you're watching. So maybe Connor, just get your act together and fight Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Just get back and box my man Jake Paul. That's my plea to you, Connor. Fight Jake Paul. No, but seriously, yeah, I think upsetting. Shouldn't have said it. Bad form, but I just also can't be listening to people fucking moralizing about it either. Yeah,
Yeah.
he said something. He was likely.
Dr-
Uh,
drugged up and
I don't know that I could say that, but I think look, he was obviously at the very least in a heightened state of emotion. Said something in the heat of the moment, deleted it very quickly afterwards. Give me a break.
yeah.
Come on, dude. Like, not that bad in the grand scheme of things. We're not talking about the end of the world here. Made a tasteless
Right.
comment about Khabib's dad. Fuck it.
Yeah, it is what it is. But I'm with you. And people just you can't dismiss what he did for not only, all of Ireland, but the sport of the UFC. He
Yeah.
said it when he was on the come up. Without me, this whole fucking ship sinks. So he said some stupid shit after a very tough loss that he obviously was very determined to win. People elsewhere have said the same, if not worse. I'm not saying it's okay what he said, but yeah, it is what it is. I'm like I told I'm one, like Brendan Schaub says, a Connor dick rider. So
Yeah, for sure. I'm more than willing to criticize him, and I do think, look, obviously, I think one of the funniest Trump moments ever is when he was talking about the like Charlottesville thing, and he goes like,
yeah,
"I disavow." Okay, I disavow. It's like, yeah, I disavow. Okay, I disavow. I
yeah,
disavow, obviously, but you know, I want Connor to stand back and stand by from his tweets. And I just think, yeah, like, look, there's there is only so much people can be saying. He knows he's wrong. Everyone knows he's wrong, and I just hope that he gets better, man. I hope that things begin to change for him. And obviously he's got his kids back by his side now. He's got the lovely Dee Devlin back with him now in California. I'm sure they were probably around when he sent the tweet, but hopefully family man Connor returns and we never go back to the Connor that we're seeing at the last couple of weeks.
yeah. Absolutely. So I'm right with you on that. All right, I'll let you get to bed here. We hang out after when we stop recording for just a couple
Hell
minutes.
yes.
We can chit chat about that, but always a pleasure. Hopefully we can try and make this more of a weekly thing with Donagh. We're in the works with that. We'll see.
We're in talks.
We're in talks. So everyone calm down. The contract negotiations they're underway. We'll see.
10K are offering a very good package, but Mirror Fighting also offer a very good package.
yeah, and they might be paying
So,
the bills actually. So, but no, always a pleasure, man. Ton of fun here. Like I said, we'll see. You'll be on the show definitely in the future, but full time we'll work on it. We're trying, like I said, maybe some people in the comments can say, how much they love you. Or
that's so nice.
we'll see. But yeah, I always have a ton of fun. Time always flies. We kept
Long
it
live
3
Bubba.
hours. Long live Bubba. R.I.P. to his 10K career. And we'll see you guys next week after the interim heavyweight title. Take it easy.
Beautiful.